Om Jananim Sharadam Devim Ramakrishnam Jagadgurum Padapadme Tayo Shritva Pranamami Muhurmuhu. Sri Ramakrishna is speaking. The Goswami and another person are sitting, Vaishnava. One can rightly speak of God only after one has seen Him. He who has seen God knows really and truly that God has form and that He is formless as well. He has many other aspects that cannot be described. Sri Ramakrishna is God is with form, without form, and many more things. What can you understand about Him? So, the only thing Sri Ramakrishna is to insist again and again, don't limit God. Never say God is this alone and not anything else. He can be anything and beyond. So this limitation, that anything that limited cannot be God. What is unlimited is God. Once some blind men chanced to come near an animal that someone told them it was an elephant. They were asked what the elephant was like. The blind men began to feel its body. One of them said the elephant was like a pillar. He had touched only its leg. Another said it was like a winnowing fan. He had touched only its ear. In this way, others, having touched its tail or belly, gave different versions of the elephant. Just so, a man who has seen only one aspect of God limits God to that alone. It is his conviction that God cannot be anything else. To the Goswami. So, like blind man, almost all religious differences that we find and the way in which they present, this is right thing, don't call it wrong, but it is incomplete. When many of the aspects are known of God, then also we don't say this is God. As many aspects you try to understand, as many aspects of God you try to realize, you come direct experience, then you start giving up the idea of limiting God. Oh, God can be anything. A few aspects of God makes your consciousness expand to the limit that you give up the limiting God. To Goswami, how can you say that the only truth about God is that He has form? How can you say that only truth about God is that He has form? It is undoubtedly true that God comes down to the earth in a human form, as in the case of Krishna. And it is true as well that God reveals Himself to His devotees in various forms. But it is also true that God is formless. He is indivisible, existence, knowledge, bliss, absolute, Sachidananda. He has been described in the Vedas both as formless and as endowed with form, he is also described there both as attributeless and as endowed with attributes. The scriptures, what do they say? In Hinduism, especially when we come to the Vedantic truths and all that, three things are taken into consideration to establish the truth. One is yukti, the reasoning, it must satisfy reasoning. Shruti, what does the scriptures say about it? And anubhuti, someone's experience or one's own experience regarding that. Now, suppose Advaitic truth. So many people like Ramana Maharshi, we've experienced this, have got their self-knowledge, knowledge of the Brahman, the absolute existence in which universes with all beings appear and disappear, the Vedantic truth. All these are one's own experience, and what does the scripture say, what does the Vedas say, what does the aspects of Hindu scriptures say regarding God. And then does it satisfy my reasoning? So when we come to the Vedantic truth as one ultimate reality, there cannot be more beyond one. We integrate all things to bring it. If there are two, what is the common substratum? From where did these two appear? We try to merge back. We are trying to integrate all. If there are two, there must be a substratum on which the two are standing. So, what is that substratum? And how did these two appear? And to where do they go back? If something has come out of it, it has to return to its source. So if the whole universe has come, it has to return back to the one. We come from deep sleep to the bodily existence with multifarious universe appears, and we become many. And again when we sleep, we all merge in the same one existence. My own self, my mind, body, senses, what all differentiated from my existence, bodily existence up to, and the vision of the world that I possess. All this whole thing goes back into one, and from one many appears. How many aspects of my existence is there? Physical, psychological, emotional, intellectual. All these various aspects of my own existence. My sensual understanding. My senses are seeing. Sensual grasping is entirely different from my mental imaginations. Entirely different from my emotions. The same thing second time may not produce any emotion in me. An object which is involving me into emotional bond may not second time arouse my emotions at all, or may arouse opposite emotions. So how many ways I am behaving? With heart I am behaving, with mind I am behaving, with intellect I am behaving. When I sit and design a computer or a software, my intellectual being alone is working there. My emotional is not working there. So I go on projecting at the gross physical level, at various levels of my projection. So like that, the God does project in various aspects when it comes to the level of the universe, the manifestation, the relative existence from the absolute. So we take when we again integrate, there will be one. From prism, the white light becomes so many colors, and colors mix up and become so many shades, innumerable shades. And when you go back to the source, you see again one light. All these colors merge back to form again white light. Merge all the colors, you will get white. Split all white light, you get all the colors. So the you cannot limit how the one frequency of light becomes multifarious frequencies. Infrared or red is entirely different frequency. There is frequency, only frequency differences. So it splits into. So one Godhead may manifest in many ways to fulfill many aspects of the universe. That doesn't mean there are many gods. At the same time, you cannot deny the manifestations are also. From one they manifest. There is one. When we integrate and see, when you go beyond the prism and see, it is one white light, undifferentiated. Similarly, we go beyond the Maya and see there is one reality which is manifesting as universe and all beings and multiple universes also. And multiple powers. The Shakti is splitting into innumerable aspects of Shakti. So the air is sustaining life in a living being. Air has the power to sustain life. Similarly, the water. So each is a power which is doing a particular function in the universe. Behind that is the consciousness Chaitanya, which is giving existence to it and make it function. Now, my mind is there, my body is there. When my consciousness is not there, I am unconscious, either in sleep or actually unconscious. None of these work. Neither mind works nor body works. For anything to work, act, there must be a consciousness behind to work. For the universe to exist, for all movements to take place, there is the universal consciousness behind to make them express themselves and function. So this we call God the personal. But when we integrate and see, when you go back to the source, there is again one. So this understanding we can analyze and see through yukti, giving examples, this, that and all, through yukti. That is, it satisfies my reasoning. Then what does the scripture say? Scriptures are eternal truths that are given to, especially when we come to Hinduism, it is not something some person has or some saint or prophet has told something and gone away. It is eternal truths, just like gravitation. Whether Newton has discovered it or not, people know or not, it remains forever. And somebody discovers and tells, oh, there is a thing called gravitation. No, that one who discovered and told he is not responsible for it, nor it is his creation. Like that, when existence of God, of universe, of nature, and all these things are told, or the karmic load, how the karma works in a jiva, how the action and reactions become equal and opposite. For every good that a man does, he has to experience the good, and for everything that's bad done, has to experience bad. All these laws, what does the scripture say? So the things scriptures give the eternal truths, especially with respect in the Hindu context, we see it's called apaurusheya. It does not belong to a person's coming and telling and going away. It is eternal truths for a constantly changing society. Many times humanity won't be there on the earth. Again, humanity appears. When it is there also, the eternal principles remain. When human existence does not exist also, the eternal principle. These eternal principles are described in the scriptures, Shastra. Shastra gives us the first-hand information of the transcendental realm. So what does scripture say about it is an important part. It is a discovery and it is a presentation. I have seen this, I have discovered, and you too can realize and see. You too can experiment and see. There it comes, the modern scientific understanding. Yes, it is truth. Now, what does scripture say? Then, what is the, who has experienced this? Sri Ramakrishna says, I have. All the past I have worked to God and I saw everything is true. And he puts the validity seal on everything. When incarnations come, they clean all the past, the accumulated unwanted things by the flow of religion through long time. It acquires certain things, it gives up certain things. The essential part is always forgotten. Non-essentials are brought in and kept safely. So non-essentials become a problem. They differentiates from the other religions, other way of looking at the God. So these are eliminated. When God incarnates, first thing is done, cleaning of the old systems. So Sri Ramakrishna again works out all these, goes in that path, and that is which is not valid, not exactly valid, it is unnecessary things. All these are eliminated. And then what is essence, essential things? The longing for God is the only condition that one can realize God. So these things, this is essential. What is essential is your love for God and longing for God. The rest are all external things. So these things we brings again essence into picture, and that which are contradictory to each other from religion to religion. Oh, these are unnecessary things accumulated. Leave these things apart. This is just there as a scaffolding, but the real building is within. Hold on to that and go. So these experiments who has done and attained that, like saints, so many saints came and went. So many prophets and came and went. Each one. So here Anubhuti. So Shruti, what does scripture say? Does it satisfy my reasoning? And are there people who have realized that truth? How did they do, and can I do it? So this is the way so here when Sri Ramakrishna says, how can you say that God only true, that the only truth about God is He has form? He's telling to Goswami. Because Vaishnavism insists on the form aspect of God. It is undoubtedly true that God comes down to the earth in a human form. Avatara is also true. As in the case of Krishna. And it is true as well that God reveals Himself to His devotees in various forms. As you want. Somebody want to see God in particular form. Even as Krishna or Rama, he must have seen and fallen in love with Krishna through a particular image or through a particular calendar printing. Through such things, the God appears to him in the same form which he loves. He expects the God to come because it is manifestation of it can manifest, it is not limited by form. Now I am limited by form. God is not limited by form, so He can take any form. But it's also true that God is formless. Just for example, water is formless when it is humidity in the air. Water can take any form when it is water. You put in a bottle, it takes the form of bottle. You put in a vessel, it takes the form of the vessel. Whatever shape you want, that shape of the vessel you take and put in it, you'll see the water taking that form. God can take any form of my mental structure. So, same thing, when you see the eyes, the humidity in the air, the water in a vessel, and the ice block is solid form. When the same thing, same water, when it is humidity in air is formless, when it is in liquid form can take any form, and when it is solid, it is firm and clear concrete. God is with form, specific form when you see it as eyes. It can take any form when it is water and is formless when it is humidity in the air. So you cannot limit. It can take any aspects. But it's also true that God is formless. He is the invisible existence, bliss, knowledge, bliss absolute. Satchidananda Sagara. He has been described in the Vedas both as formless and as endowed with form. The scriptural truth Sri Ramakrishna is giving. He is also described there both as attributeless and endowed with attributes. Saguna, Nirguna. Saguna is we endowed with attributes. Nirguna is without attributes. Gunas are not there. God is indivisible. Satchidananda, existence, knowledge, bliss absolute. Indivisible. Now, maximum understanding we get from the space, Akasha. The space is there. Space is indivisible. When an object is placed, the space is passing in and through the object. Like glass beaker or glass or water, light passes in and through the object. If you keep a glass and keep it in light, light is passing through the glass and pervading the glass. Glass is not displacing the light, allows the light to pass through. Similarly, the space is passing through every object. Now this book is there. Book is not replacing the space, but occupying the space. Space is pervading in and through the. When there is object is there, space is there. When object is not there, space is there as it was. That space is occupied and it's not displayed. Suppose it is water. When I keep a book, water is displaced and taken because it is khanda, it can be separated. Space is akhanda, you cannot cut it. Innumerable universes appear in the absolute. The absolute continues to pervade it. The pervasive, whatever pervades this universe is called Ishvara, the personal God. What is there eternally pervading everything, that we call Brahman, the impersonal absolute as the Brahman, the impersonal God of the Hindus. The personal, same consciousness, same Chaitanya is pervading the universe. At all times, the universe appears also, it is there. Universe doesn't appear also, it is there, pervading the universe. Like space pervading every object. like light pervading a glass beaker. So everything. So here we see it is not displacing. If it displaces, it occupies, then it becomes limited. When it's pervading, it becomes unlimited. Here we see when a pervasive property is there, when anything pervades, it is always infinite and eternal. Space is, as long as the universe exists, the space is eternal, infinite. Beyond it, when we go, the absolute existence, it pervades. When we are in dream, the mind pervades the whole universe. Mind has become that universe. And when we wake up, the universe or the world that we were seeing in dream again returns to become the one mind, which had become the multifarious universe as dream world. The dream world is, when you wake up, dream world immediately becomes mind and remains. Similarly, the universes we appear, it originates from is a manifestation of the absolute. Just like there is manifestation of the dream world from the mind. One mind is manifesting a dream world. Like that, the absolute is manifesting this one. In what does it exist? Nothing. The houses, people, and all that we see in dream is mind alone. The universe is God alone. This aspect of God, as universe, we call as immanent reality. The other is transcendental reality. So God is with form, God is without form, and God is many more things which cannot be conceived. Do you know what I mean? Sachidananda is like infinite ocean. Intense cold freezes the water into ice, which floats on this ocean in blocks in various forms. Likewise, through the cooling influence of bhakti, one sees forms of God in the ocean of the Absolute. Sri Ramakrishna has made every bit of the reality easily graspable with proper similes to understand the truth. And beautifully has presented all these things, how the one becomes many, how the saguna becomes nirguna or nirguna becomes saguna. All these aspects Sri Ramakrishna has beautifully described. This is an important explanation how out of excessive coolness the water becomes ice. The form, how does it, the formless take the form? Niranjanam nityamanantarupam bhaktanukampa dhrita vikraham vai Ishavataram parameshamidhyam tam Ramakrishnam shirasa namami.